Okay guys, I'm gonna do a quick little walk through the iTSX. Not a lot out there on it, so I figured that I would just shoot this while I'm doing some things and setting up the configuration file. You wanna have your laptop out and then go into Live Link, open that up, go over here to the section where you can test the communication. And you wanna have your iTSX hooked up via the USB cord to your laptop. You can go ahead and click communication. It's like this with most devices, you know, the X4s, the live wires, and Live Link will confirm that your device is connected, and then that's when you go ahead and plug it in to your OBD2 connector. The second step would be to check your connection to the vehicle. So you can go ahead and do that. Turn the key on. I think we'll actually tell you if it's connected without the key on, but just to save some time. There you go, it read my strategy. Go ahead and progress through. There's all that information again. And then it'll bring up basically your complete list of parameters to log and the things you can go through and select. Obviously we have some files already made up, but there are a ton of different options to scroll through. I already have a basic configuration, so I'm just going to go up here to the top. Merge with current list, click yes. Go back to your list. Basically, if you wanted to add anything, I don't think I'm going to add anything. Let's see. Okay, so I basically did a little test run to make sure that all the data elements work correctly with this strategy. It's easiest to do it here before you export the file. So I'm actually going to save this current configuration, F150 iTSX. Save that to the desktop. You guys want to save it somewhere easy that you can find. And then if you ever need to load it, basically you can just go to load configuration. No, I'm not going to save any of that. And then it should be right here on your desktop. Open that up. And it'll show you all the parameters. And then configure data log. Basically you're all set up, ready to go if you're going to log the laptop. Now the next step for the iTSX will be to export this configuration into a .dlx file. Give it a description again. F150 iTSX. Export that. It's going to give you a DLX. I always like to rename it. This is basically just your strategy. created successfully, and you can pop back out to your desktop. There it is right there. Make sure it's the .dox, not the configuration file. So change those, do whatever you have to, and then this is the part that basically is hard to find anywhere on the internet, how to get this configuration file onto your device. And basically what I do is I just go send an email to myself with the file. Okay, so here's the next part. Basically, hopefully you know how to connect your iTSX to the device already. Normally I use my phone, but I pulled my iPad out real quick so I can show you on a larger screen. It's basically the same process. Go ahead and plug your iTSX in. If you don't know how, or you've never used one of these and might be interested in one, connection is pretty easy. Obviously shows right up. Go ahead and you click on it and pair it to it. It's connected, and then you should have the application downloaded, iTSX app. And there you go. There's basically the interface for the iTSX app on the iPad. The next thing to do to get the configuration file is basically go into your email. Okay, you go ahead into your email, and then see the email that we sent earlier, and then right here is the DLX file. Click on that. And then it will actually ask you to open an iTSX, and basically it'll give you a imported successfully. And I mean, this is really simple. There's just not a lot of information out there on how to do it, and you kind of need to make sure the file's set up correctly on the laptop first, otherwise it won't transfer correctly to this device. So then you can go into your gauges, and right up here is where you select the file, and you'll see at the very bottom, here's basically the regular template installed configuration files, and here's a couple, but this new one that we made, since we verified it on the laptop, should look fine. You can go through your different gauge setups. Kind of cool. Like this one. Save panel. Turn key on. Hit OK. Go through this process, scanning your PIDs, and then all of your inputs basically end up right here. So you can go through and adjust these by clicking on them and actually edit them and put what you want in each of these blocks, so that you don't either have pointless information like the analog inputs, which are usually for aftermarket accessories. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of annoying because you can't, basically set unlimited parameters. So you more or less have to pick and choose some of the things that you view, you know, right off the bat. But it doesn't really matter. We're basically really interested in just capturing the data when we actually go out and do the log. So you could start the truck up. When you go out and you log, you basically click right there, just touch a screen, and you get a record log button. And you can go ahead and record a log real quick. There's only so much room on the iTSX, you can't just drive around recording, but since the interface is really nice, you can use your phone or an iPad like this. It's pretty convenient. Then you just hit stop and save log, hit OK. There's actually, I'm not sure why this is the case, but there's really no way to type a Datalog name into it, but it will actually save the file, which you can pull off the device or you can email it to yourself right here, and it will give, you know, basically the date, time of that log, so you'll know what log you just ran, and if you run a few at the same time, they'll obviously be in order. Another cool feature is you can export them, you can view them, which is pretty neat if you want to look at some of the data, and I can go into that later, but you can also export them into an email and basically send them to your laptop for further review, or, you know, basically send them to a home computer to look over, and that's a pretty nice feature. But it's pretty simple, pretty easy setup. I like the device a lot. I've never had any issues with it. Sometimes the connectivity is crappy when you like get out of the truck and get back in it to your phone, but normally it's a pretty good device. I've never had it crash or do anything like that, and it's really useful when you need to log and stuff, in my opinion. So I'll try to go into that maybe in another video a little more in depth, but just wanted to give a quick run through for guys that might be interested in the device, or, you know, basically the guys that need the log and are just using the crappy stock configuration. You know, get a good configuration on there for what your tuner needs, so that you can send him the information that he needs to look at your file. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm gonna go get this video together and edit it.